To, of course, welcome KwaZulu-Natal Education Spokesperson Mr. Mlu Mtshali. Mlu, thank you so much for your time today. So what are some of your key and primary concerns when you witness the situation currently unfolding outside of the Addington Primary School, and what are some of the measures that government is taking to intervene?
Thank you very much. We are concerned about the visuals that are coming out of that school, because a school should be an institution or a safe haven for learners to come and learn, and for teachers to impart knowledge. But what we are seeing at the school is really concerning, and we are saying that that is not the right platform to be addressing some of the issues that either of the parties are bringing to the school.
But the issue of placements, Mlu, has long been a bubbling issue. Then we saw, of course, the contested implementation of the Bella Act. And last year already, these groups had already expressed their displeasure at the notion that children of foreign nationals, even without proper documentation, should be placed in schools, in government schools, should have at least taken some of these concerns to consideration and also expected the latest situation.
You must remember that schools are limited by the constitution, legislation, and policy on registration in terms of how we register learners at the beginning of the year. We register all learners that are of qualifying age at our schools. And you'll remember that schools do not have the capacity to delineate who among the learners is foreign and who is not, because we are bound by law to register all learners, whether they are documented or undocumented. Remember that documentation of learners, it cuts across board. There are South African children who are undocumented, and of course there are foreign children who are undocumented. So when they present themselves to the schools as undocumented learners, there's no way that the administration can tell if a child is a foreigner or not.
But Mlu, I mean, is the placement of pupils relying solely on the principal? I mean, I'm referring to the principal in this matter because the principal, I'm sure you heard, in the Addington Primary School is being accused. It's alleged that he's actually, he's got preferential treatment towards foreign learners.
Look, there's been a lot of disinformation going around, especially on this matter. There's misinformation around the numbers of learners, and we are saying that the principal will, in due course, give us those statistics, and we will be able to inform the members of the public or the media in terms of how many learners have actually been registered and the demographics thereof. We haven't seen any evidence that supports the allegation that the principal is actually favoring one group of learners over the other.
But Mlu, maybe talk to us about also the acceptance criteria for all learners. I know that you touched on it a little bit when we started this interview, but from a government and departmental standpoint, please air it out so that everybody can understand.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, because I think it's important. There is no material difference in requirements for learners, whether they are foreigners or local learners. The only difference is that, as you would know, South African learners would be expected to have identifying documentation, because government has made sure that as soon as a child is born, there are Home Affairs officials at the hospital who are there available to ensure the registration of the learner. But that doesn't always happen, and it hasn't always happened. So that's why we end up with undocumented children whose parents are South African. So the law says, even though that is the requirement, the school cannot stop registration of learners when they don't have such documentation, all the way up to when they write their National Senior Certificate examination. So as much as there is a requirement for documentation, the law says the principal or the administrator of the school may not disqualify any learner from registration.
Now, private schools versus public or government schools, Mlu, let's unpack what the constitutional referendum here actually deals with, which is a similar quagmire concerning the public health sector.
There is no registration difference between private school and public schools. Yes, the SGBs may develop their own registration protocols, but those protocols must not be in conflict with the Constitution, with the Schools Act, and the gazetted registration policy by the minister. So the governing legislation cannot be superseded by any locally developed registration policy.
All right, but Mlu, thank you so much. We're going to leave it there. There is Mlu Mtshali, KZN Education spokesperson there on the placement issue that is currently unfolding at Addington Primary School.